Okay, assignment number one, you have, I'm gonna do these all as examples, and on the back side is the part you have to do on your own. You may work on this one ready. This one isn't very hard. First problem, we have 3 times x plus 2 times y equals 19. Now I tell you that y is equal to 2. You have to find the x. Now you have to do this a certain way or it's going to be all screwed up, okay? Y is equal to 2. It's y that's 2. So I'm going to circle that, and then I'm going to go find y. Now y has a 2 in front of it, so you need to put a parentheses around the y, and you're going to put 2 in for it. Okay, now that's a 2 right there I put. Now you need to circle the 2 and then the number that was in front of the y. Circle those, okay? So what I need to do is take 2 times 2. It's really easy. 2 times 2. Don't put y on the answer. Y is gone. 2's gone in for it. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now, as soon as you write 4 down, cross that off. Now before equals, you have to add 3x. And then equals 19. Now you may dot your x. Circle it. And then we have a 4 outside of it, so we need a minus 4. So 3 dot x equals 15, and then I divide by 3. And 15 divided by 3 is 5, so you put 5 as your other answer. Okay, 6 times x plus negative 2 times y equals 30. So they give me an answer for x. So that means I got to go find the x. There's a 6 up against it, so I need to parenthesize that. And then I'll just put a little 3 up there. And then I take the 3 and the 6 and circle it. That means we times those two. So 6 times 3 is 18. Now as soon as you have that, cross it out. Before equals, you got to add a negative 2y equals 30. Okay? I'm going to get a different marker here. So I dot my x, circle it. I have an 18 outside, so I need a minus 18. So I have negative 2 dot y, negative 2 times y. 30 minus 18 is 12. Okay, now divide. So 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. Okay, my next problem. Negative 5 times x plus negative 2 times y equals 30. X is negative 4. So go find your x. Again, that says x, so I go find the x. It has a 5 in front of it, so I want to parenthesize that, not just scribble it out. I'm going to put a negative 4 up there. Now, I need to circle negative 4 and the number in front. Those two you got to circle. So I take negative 5 times negative 4. Well, that's 20. Positive 20. Before equals, you got to add your negative 2y equals 30. Now dot your y. Circle it. You got a 20 out here. You need to subtract that. Okay, so negative 2 dot y equals 10. And then I divide by negative 2. 10 divided by negative 2 is negative 5. Okay, next one. 2 times x plus negative 4 times y equals 0. Now they give us an answer for x. Okay, so go find the x, put a parentheses around it, and you're just going to put negative 6 up there. So now I need to circle negative 6 and the 2, because those have to be times. So 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Before equals, you have to add negative 4y equals 0. Okay, so I'm going to dot my y, circle it, and I have this negative 12 here, so I plus 12. So negative 4 dot y times y equals 12. Now to find what number y is, we need to divide by negative 4. And 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. Next problem, y equals negative 3. So go find the y. There's a 4 against it, so I use a parentheses, and I need to put negative 3. Okay? So I circle the 4 and the negative 3 because I need to times those. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Don't put y on that because y has been replaced with negative 3. I'll go cross that off, and you got plus 5x equals 23. Now I dot my 5 and circle it. We have a negative 12 outside there, so I plus 12, plus 12. So 5 dot x equals 35, and then I divide by 5. So x equals 7, okay? 35 divided by 5. Okay, now I have y equals negative 1, so go find the y. There's a 10 up against it, so you need to parenthesize that and put a negative 1 right there. And then circle the negative 1 and the 10. You need to times those. 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. Now go cross that off. Now before equals, you have to add a negative 4x equals 10. And then I dot my x, circle it. We have a negative 10 outside there, so I'm going to add 10. And negative 4 dot x equals 20. So divide by negative 4. And 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. Okay, x equals negative 4, so go find your x. There it is. Parenthesize it, put a negative 4, and then circle that and the number that was in front, just like that. You want to circle so you know you times those. Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. I need to add a 3y after that, equals 6. So I dot my 3y and circle it. 24, so I have minus 24. So I've got 3 dot y, and then 6 minus 24 is negative 18. And then you're ready to divide. Y equals negative 18 divided by 3. Well, negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. Okay, then the last one, I forgot to write x equals, sorry. Y is negative 3, so here's y. Put the negative 3, and you want to circle that because you're going to times those two. Positive 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Then I add negative 3x to that, and then equals 12. Now I need to dot that, circle it, minus 6, so I'd plus 6, so negative 3 dot x equals 18. Then I divide by negative 3, and 18 divided by negative 3 is negative 6. Okay, now you have the ones to do on the back side, okay? Sometimes you put the number in for x, sometimes it goes in for y. Okay. You should have paused the video and did the other side. Now this, you just got to do the 6 problems along with me. Today we're going to be solving for both x and y. Now there's no base equation because there's no letter isolated by itself. So I circle the x's so they're together. I circle the y's so they're together. And then these numbers over here. Now, one of these letters has the same number in front of it, but they have to be opposites for me to cross it out. Now here's where I have the same number, but these are not opposites. For me to cross it out, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. And I saw people that yesterday, that's why I'm starting with this one, okay? Again, one has to be positive, one has to be negative for you to cross it out. I'll repeat it again. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. Right now, they're not the opposite, okay? So I'm going to write both positive, okay? Well, they can't both be the same sign, so you have to do what's called a sign switch. Every number on the bottom, I'm going to switch it to its opposite. So 2 would become negative 2. The negative 2y would become positive 2y. And the negative 8 would become positive 8. Now that you have a positive and a negative of the same number, you cross it out. Don't scribble it out, just cross it out like that. And then I add, and I always plus, okay? I take 4 plus 2, and that's 6y. Positive 4 plus positive 2. And I take 22 plus positive 8. 22 plus 8, that'd be 30. Okay, you can dot it, and all you got to do is divide. And y equals 5. Now, go put that right there. You need to put it there. Now, here's how you get your second answer. Copy the top part of the problem. 2x plus 4y equals 22. Always copy the top down. Now I do what I did in the last sheet of paper. Y equals 5. So I want to go find y, put a parentheses around it, and a 5. So I circle that, and 4 times 5 is 20. Cross that out, plus 2x before equals 22. Now I can dot my x and circle it, and I do the opposite of 20, which is minus 20. 22 minus 20 is 2, so 2 dot x equals 2. And then I can divide by 2. And 2 divided by 2 equals 1. So x would equal 1 if I got my two answers. Okay, now, again, none of these problems you have a base equation, so you need to circle the x's, circle the y's, and circle these numbers over here. Okay. Now, right here is where we have the same number, okay? But I have a negative and a negative. That's not going to work. For me to cross it out, I have to have a negative and a positive. So we do the sign switch. Okay, and I always do that to the bottom. So I switch the positive 1 to a negative 1. I switch the negative 7 to a positive 7. And now that I have a negative and a positive of the same number, I can cross that out. And negative 15 goes to positive 15. Okay? And now I always plus. Okay? So I take 4 plus negative 1, and that's 3. So 3x. Then equals. And I take positive 3 and plus positive 15. You can just put 15. That's 18. Okay, now you can just dot and just divide. That's all you have to do. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now that was the x, okay? Okay, now to find the y, write down everything from the top. So I had 4x plus negative 7y equals 3. Okay, so x is 6, so I got to find the x, which has a 4 up against it. 6, and then multiply that. 4 times 6 is 24. Don't put x on that. X is gone. Okay, and then plus negative 7y equals 3. Now I want to dot my negative 7y. Circle that. 24, so minus 24. So negative 7 dot y. 3 minus 24 is negative 21. And then I'm ready to divide both sides by negative 7. So negative 21 divided by negative 7 is positive 3. Okay. Next. Okay, again, no base, so circle the x's, circle the y's, and circle the numbers, okay? Okay, here's where I have the same number, okay, right in here. And this top one was positive, and the bottom one is negative. So I don't need to do the sign switch, okay? because I want a positive and a negative. If I have that, we can cross that out. So, and we always plus, remember that. So pos 3 plus 1 is 4x. Then I take 27 plus negative 11, and that's 16. So I just dot and divide. And 16 divided by 4 is 4, and it's x. That's 4. Okay. Now to find the y, you can't be lazy. You need to copy down the top. So I had 3x plus 3y equals 27. Just always use the top, okay? So x equals 4. So I parenthesize the x and put a 4 there. And I take 3 times 4, and that's 12. And then I have to add 3y equals 27. Then I'm going to dot my y. I'm going to minus the 12. That's why you don't want x on that 12. You don't want x there. So 3 dot y, 27 minus 12 is 15. And then I divide both sides by 3. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay. Next problem. There's no base, so circle the x's, circle the y's, and circle the numbers over here. Okay, now here's where I have the same number, 1 and 1. The 1 up here is negative, and the 1 down here is positive. So a negative and positive is good. That means I don't do the sign switch. I just go cross them out. If I have a negative and a positive, they can cross out. If you have two negatives or 2 positives, you have to do the sign switch. And I always plus, okay? So I take 5, here, answer's 4, but you just go 5 plus negative 1, that'd be 4y. Then 13 plus 15, 28. Now dot your y and divide by 4. So 28 divided by 4 is 7, and that's y. Okay, now to get your other answer, you write down what you have. That's why you slash it out, not scribble it out. So I've got negative 1x plus 5y equals 13. So I have an answer for y at 7. So I parenthesize y. And I take 5 times 7, and that's 35. Cross it out once you're done. You got to add a negative 1x equals 13. Okay, so I dot my negative 1x, I circle it, and I subtract 35. Okay, 13 minus 35 is negative 22. So negative 1 dot x equals negative 22. Then I divide by negative 1, and that's positive 22. Okay, last 2. Again, there's no base equation, okay? So I circle the x's, I circle the y's, and I circle these numbers. That's a 0 there. Okay, now here's where I have the same number, okay? The top number's negative, and the bottom number's positive. So with a negative and a positive, we can cross it out. Then I add 5 plus 3 is 8x, and then equals 0 plus 24 is 24. So I dot my 8, divide by 8. 24 divided by 8 equals 3. So that's my x. Now I write the top equation. I have 5x's, plus negative 1y. I know you cross that out, but now you got to write it, okay, equals 0. So it's the x that's equal to 3, so I parenthesize the x and put a 3 there. Circle the number you're going to multiply the 3 by. 5 times 3, 15. No, don't put x there. Then I add negative 1y equals 0. So I dot my negative 1y and circle it. 15, I would minus 15. So negative 1 dot y equals negative 15. And then I divide by negative 1. So negative 15 divided by negative 1 is positive 15. Okay, last problem. No base, so circle the x's, circle the y's, and circle these. Now let's point to out of these two, where do I have the same number? Not here, right here, okay? Now, the top 5 is positive, and the bottom 5 is positive. That's not going to work. You can't cross those off, okay? To cross it off, you have to have a positive and a negative. So, if they're the same sign, I need to do the sign switch. So that positive 3, now it's negative 3. That positive 5, now it's negative 5. That positive 27, now it's negative 27. Okay? And now that you have a positive and a negative, they can be crossed off. Okay? And I always plus. Okay? So I will be taking 6 plus negative 3. That's 3. So 3x equals, and I will be taking 39 plus negative 27. And that's 12. So dot your 3. And we get our first answer of 4. So x is 4. Now write your top equation, 6x. And again, I know I crossed that out, but now I'm going to bring it back. So plus 5y equals 39. So x is 4, so I can go ahead and replace the x with 4. But it's got to be times by 6. 6 times 4 is 24. And then I add 5y. And then equals 39. So I dot my 5. I have a 24 here, so I'm going to minus 24. So 5 dot y equals 15, and then divide by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay? All right, now hopefully the biggest thing is to know when you have to do the sign switch. If you have a negative and a positive in there, you don't have to do it. But if you have two positives or if you have two negatives, you have to do the sign switch. Okay? Then to get the other answer, you just write your top equation and put that answer in for it.